My mother's voice cracked through the phone like ice breaking. "Chloe, please," she sobbed. "Please come home. We're losing everything." Behind her, I could hear my father's heavy breathing and my sister Brooke crying, high-pitched, desperate. 8 months. That's how long it had been since my mother told the entire family I was dead to her. 8 months since she hung up on me and blocked my number, because I'd committed the unforgivable sin of taking a job offer in Seattle. Outside my Seattle apartment window, Christmas lights blinked red and green on the building across the street. They looked cheerful. I didn't feel cheerful. "Mom," I said, my hand shaking around the phone. "What are you talking about?" "The house," she gasped between sobs. "They're going to take the house. Brooke's business, everything collapsed. We need you. Please." Then my father's voice quieter, ashamed. "We remortgaged everything, Chloe. For your sister. We thought you'd be here." My mother cut in, sharp even through tears. "If you hadn't left, you could have stopped this." There it was. My name dragged back in like a chain. The blame that always found me, no matter how far I ran. As she spoke, my mind snapped back to the moment this started. The moment I learned I wasn't family unless I was convenient. 8 months earlier, March 15th, I'd sat at our family dinner table with news that should have made them proud. A dream job offer. Senior product manager at a Seattle tech startup. The kind of opportunity I'd been working toward for 5 years. I stood in our dining room with the offer letter folded in my pocket, watching my mother arrange napkins like she was preparing for royalty. "Mom, Dad," I said, "I have news. Remember that position I interviewed for?" My mother looked up, smiled. "Oh, the local one? The marketing job?" "No," I said carefully. "The Seattle one. The senior role. They offered me the position." The smile froze. "Seattle. It's an incredible opportunity." "Seattle," she repeated louder. "That's 3,000 miles away, Chloe." My father set down his fork. "Honey, we can talk about this. How can you even consider this?" My mother's voice climbed. "After everything we've done for you? After all the sacrifices we've made? You're just going to abandon us." "I'm not abandoning anyone," I said, keeping my voice steady. "I'm taking a job. While your sister is struggling with her business. While your father and I are getting older. While we need you here." She stood up, chair scraping. "If you leave, Chloe, don't expect us to be here when you come back." Brooke sat across from me, silent. Not defending. Not objecting. Just watching. "That's not fair," I whispered. "Fair?" My mother's eyes filled with tears. "You want to talk about fair? Fine. If you get on that plane, you're dead to this family. Dead to us." She meant it. Within a week, she told my aunts, my cousins, my grandmother. Told them I'd chosen ambition over family. Told them I'd abandoned everyone when they needed me most. My calls went to voicemail. My texts turned from delivered to blocked. The silence was absolute. So I went. I packed 2 suitcases and drove to the airport with my mother's words echoing in my head like a curse I couldn't shake. And now, on Christmas Eve, at 11:47 p.m., she was calling me like none of that had happened. Like she hadn't erased me from the family. Like I was supposed to forget. "What do you mean, you're losing everything?" I asked. 8 months earlier, I sat at our family dinner table with the offer letter burning a hole in my pocket. Mom had made pot roast, my favorite, which should have felt like a good sign. It didn't. "I have news," I said, setting down my fork. "Remember that job I interviewed for in Seattle? They offered me the position." The room went still. Mom's smile froze halfway to her face. Dad stopped chewing. Brooke looked up from her phone for the first time all meal. "Seattle," Mom said flatly. Not a question. A verdict. "It's a senior product manager role. The salary is almost double what I make now, and 3,000 miles away." Mom set her napkin down with too much care, the way she did when she was trying not to explode. "You're moving 3,000 miles away. Mom, this is huge for my career. How can you be so selfish?" Her voice cracked. "After everything we've done for you? All the sacrifices we've made? You're just going to abandon us?" "I'm not abandoning anyone," I said, keeping my voice steady even though my heart was pounding. I'm taking a job. A job. She laughed, but it wasn't a real laugh. Your sister is trying to build a business. Your father and I aren't getting any younger. We need you here, Chloe. I looked at Brooke. She stared at her plate. Silent. Dad. I turned to my father, desperate for backup. He cleared his throat. Sweetheart, maybe we could. Don't, Mom snapped at him. Then back to me. Do you know how many times Brooke has needed help? How many times we've been there for her? Because that's what family does. Family shows up. This was the pattern. It had always been the pattern. When Brooke crashed her car in college, they bought her a new one. When her first business failed, they paid off her credit cards. When she needed a place to live at 26, they cleared out my childhood bedroom without asking. When I'd needed help with my first apartment deposit, Dad said, "You're the responsible one, honey. You'll figure it out." And I did. I always did. I'll visit, I said quietly. Holidays, long weekends. Visit. Mom stood up so fast her chair scraped across the floor. You think that's enough? When we need you here every day? When your sister needs support? What about what I need? The words came out before I could stop them. Mom's face went hard. If you leave, Chloe, don't expect us to be here when you come back. The silence was crushing. Dad tried again. Maggie, that's not fair. Life isn't fair, Thomas. She didn't take her eyes off me. If you get on that plane, you're choosing strangers over family. You're dead to us. I looked at Brooke again. Still silent. Still not defending me. I already accepted the offer. I whispered. Mom picked up her plate and walked to the kitchen. Over her shoulder, she said, "Then I guess we have nothing more to talk about." Within a week, she'd called every relative. Told them I was abandoning the family for money. Told them not to encourage me. My phone number blocked. My messages ignored. My cousin texted me once. Mom says you're not coming to anything anymore? I typed and deleted 3 responses before settling on, "Ask Aunt Maggie." The silence after that was absolute. 8 months in Seattle, and I'd built something real. A corner apartment with big windows that caught the morning light. A coffee shop where the barista knew my order. Friends from work who invited me to trivia nights and didn't ask why I never mentioned my family. I got promoted in October. Senior product manager to director of product strategy. My boss announced it in the all-hands meeting, and everyone clapped. I smiled and said thank you, and later, alone in my office, I stared at my phone. I wanted to call my dad. Tell him the news. Hear him say he was proud. Instead, I opened our last text thread. 8 months old. My message still sitting there undelivered. Not even read. I closed the app. You okay? My coworker Maya asked that afternoon, catching me staring out the window. Yeah, I said. Just tired. She didn't believe me, but she didn't push. That was the thing about new friends. They didn't know enough to ask the hard questions yet. I started therapy in September. Dr. Chun had kind eyes and asked simple questions that somehow broke me open. Do you feel guilty? She asked during our 3rd session. Every day, I admitted. Every success feels like proof that I'm selfish. That my mom was right. Success doesn't make you selfish, Dr. Chun said gently. Choosing yourself doesn't make you cruel. I nodded. I didn't believe her yet, but I was trying. The calls kept coming, at first. My number wasn't blocked anymore. I'd checked, but no one answered. I tried calling Dad's cell in July. It rang 6 times, then voicemail. I didn't leave a message. What would I even say? By December, I'd stopped trying. Christmas Eve morning. I woke up determined to feel festive. I'd bought a small tree from the grocery store, 3 feet tall, pre-lit, perfect for someone spending the holidays alone. I set it up by the window and hung the ornaments I'd collected since moving. A tiny space needle. A coffee cup that said Seattle. Nothing from home. Maya had invited me to her family's dinner, but I'd said no. Too much noise. Too many questions about where my family was. You sure? She'd asked. No one should be alone on Christmas. I'll be fine. I lied. I like the quiet. I made hot chocolate and put on a Christmas movie I'd seen 100 times. The kind where families fight and make up before the credits roll. The kind where love wins and no one gets exiled. My phone sat in the other room, charging on my nightstand. I didn't expect it to ring. Mom had made her choice. 8 months of silence had made that clear. At 11:47 p.m., I was half asleep on the couch when I heard it. The buzz. Then again. And again. I walked to my bedroom, confused. Who calls this late on Christmas Eve? The screen lit up, Mom. My hand froze over the phone. For a second, I thought about letting it ring. Thought about the 8 months of blocked numbers and ignored messages. Thought about the words dead to us and how much they'd cost me. But it was my mom. And it was Christmas Eve. I answered. Chloe, please, she sobbed. Please come home. We're losing everything. Mom, slow down. I said, my heart pounding. What do you mean, losing everything? The house, she gasped between sobs. They're going to take the house. We have 60 days, maybe less. Chloe, we don't know what to do. Behind her, I could hear my father's heavy breathing. Then Brooke crying, high-pitched and desperate, the way she used to cry when she didn't get her way as a kid. What happened? I asked, sitting down on my bed because my legs felt shaky. Why didn't you call me sooner? It's complicated, Mom said, her voice cracking. Bad investments. Bad timing. Things fell apart so fast. What kind of investments? I pressed. Mom, you and Dad don't invest. You've had the same savings account since I was born. Silence. Then Dad's voice, quiet and ashamed. It was for Brooke's business. We thought it would work out. My stomach dropped. How much? That's not important right now, Mom said quickly. What matters is we need help. We need you to come home. How much, Mom? More crying from Brooke in the background. Dad cleared his throat but didn't answer. We remortgaged the house, Mom finally admitted. Took out a home equity loan. Brooke needed inventory for her wellness company. It was supposed to be temporary. How much? I repeated, my voice harder now. $85,000, Dad whispered. I couldn't breathe. You risked your house for $85,000? It was supposed to work. Brooke's voice burst through, defensive and young. The company promised returns. They had testimonials. It wasn't my fault the market changed. Brooke, not now, Dad said. If you'd been here, Mom said, her voice shifting to something sharper. You could have helped us figure this out. You're good with money, good with planning. But you weren't here, Chloe. You left. And there it was. The trap springing shut. The blame right on schedule. I left because you told me I was dead to you. I said, my anger finally surfacing. You blocked my number, Mom. You told the entire family I abandoned you. I tried calling. I tried texting. No one answered. This isn't about that, Mom said quickly. This is about family. About doing the right thing when people need you. The right thing. I stood up, pacing. You declared me dead 8 months ago because I took a job. Now you want me to fix the mess Brooke made. We're going to lose our home, Mom said, crying again. Our home, Chloe. Where you grew up. Where all your memories are. Can you really just let that happen? My chest felt tight. I hated how easily she could make me feel guilty. How quickly she could turn her crisis into my responsibility. I need to think, I said. We don't have time for you to think, Mom snapped. We have 60 days. Then you should have called me 60 days ago. I hung up before she could respond. My phone immediately started buzzing again. I turned it off. I stood at my apartment window, staring at the Seattle skyline. Christmas lights blinked on buildings across the city. Families celebrating. Families that stayed together. I didn't sleep that night. Just watched the sky turn from black to gray to pale winter blue. Wondering how love could feel so much like a trap. I waited until noon Seattle time, 3 p.m. back home, before I turned my phone back on. 17 missed calls. 12 from Mom. 5 from a number I didn't recognize. None from Dad. I called his cell directly. He answered on the second ring. Chloe. His voice was heavy with relief and shame. Thank God. Your mother's been frantic. I'm not calling to talk to Mom, I said. I'm calling to talk to you. Just you. A pause. Then, okay. Let me hold on. Footsteps. A door closing. Okay. I'm in the garage. Dad, I need you to tell me the truth. All of it. What happened? He let out a long breath. It's Brooke's business. Her wellness company. She got involved about 2 years ago. Said it was going to change everything. Financial freedom, being her own boss. All the things they promise. The company. Vitalux Wellness. It's one of those multi-level marketing things. You know, where you sell products and recruit other people to sell products. He sounded tired. She was so excited, Chloe. After her last business failed, this seemed like a fresh start. My jaw tightened. How much did you give her? Started small. $5,000 for the starter kit and inventory. Then another $10,000 for the next level. She kept saying she was right on the edge of making it big. Just needed a little more to get to the next rank. He paused. Before we knew it, 2 years had gone by and we'd given her $85,000. $85,000. I sat down at my kitchen table, my laptop already open. Dad, that's not helping someone start a business. That's funding a scam. I know that now, he said quietly. But your mother, she didn't want Brooke to fail again. Didn't want her to feel like we didn't believe in her. So you took out a home equity loan? The savings ran out after about a year. Brooke kept saying she just needed to get to diamond status, or ruby level, or whatever they called it. Said that's when the real money started coming in. He made a sound that might have been a laugh if it wasn't so sad. The money never came. Where's the foreclosure notice now? I asked, already pulling up a notepad to take notes. On my desk. In the garage. Came 6 weeks ago. We have 60 days to pay $32,000, or they start the process. Why didn't you call me 6 weeks ago? Silence. Then. Your mother couldn't tell you. Pride, I guess. And guilt. She knew, after what she said to you. She knew she had no right to ask. But you do. I said, not kindly. No, Dad said. I don't. I stood there and let her push you away. I'm not any better than she is. At least he was honest. I need documents, I said, opening my email. Mortgage statements. The home equity loan papers. Every bank statement from the last 2 years. And Brooke's business records. Everything she got from Vitalux. Chloe, I don't know if your mother. Dad. My voice was firm. If you want my help, I need to see the whole picture. Not the version Mom wants to show me. The real picture. Another pause. Give me an hour. I'll send everything. Does Mom know you're talking to me? No, he said. And let's keep it that way for now. The email came 90 minutes later. 43 attachments. No subject line. Just a message. I'm sorry, Chloe. For all of it. I opened the first file and started reading. I spent Christmas Day going through the files Dad sent. Every bank statement. Every loan document. Every receipt Brooke had labeled as a business expense. The pattern was obvious once I knew what to look for. March 2024. $3,200 withdrawal. Note. Brooke Business Loan Leadership Conference Miami. I opened Instagram. Found Brooke's profile. Still public, still active. There was the Miami trip. Photos of her on a beach, cocktail in hand. Caption. Investing in myself. Leadership Summit with my Vitalux family. Hashtag BossBabe. Hashtag Wellness Journey. June 2024. $4,800 withdrawal. Brooke Business Loan Inventory and Training Bali. More Instagram photos. Brooke in a villa with an infinity pool. Another caption. Learning from the best in paradise. This is what freedom looks like. Hashtag living my best life. Hashtag Vitalux. I kept scrolling through bank statements and Instagram posts like they were two halves of the same terrible story. September 2024. $2,900. Product samples and retreat to Loom. November 2024. $5,400. Advanced seller package and Summit Malibu. Every business expense was a vacation. Every training was a party. Every investment was a lie wrapped in motivational hashtags. I clicked through to her business page. Rows and rows of products. Vitamins. Protein powders. Detox teas. All with prices that made my stomach turn. A month's supply of multivitamins for $89. Collagen powder for $127. The comments under her posts told their own story. How do I return these? They made me sick. You blocked me when I asked for my money back. This is a scam and you know it. I found Dad's email from last month. An attachment labeled garage inventory. A single photo that made my blood boil. Their garage. My childhood garage where Dad kept his tools and Mom stored holiday decorations. Was packed floor to ceiling with boxes. Vitalux Wellness logos on every single one. Hundreds of bottles. Thousands of pills. $40,000 worth of products nobody wanted. I opened the screenshot Dad had sent of Brooke's upline messages. A woman named Crystal with the title Diamond Executive Director. You're so close to Ruby level, Brooke. Just need one more inventory purchase and 3 new recruits. This is your month. Investment opportunities like this don't come twice. Your family believes in you. Show them it was worth it. Remember, you have to spend money to make money. Trust the process. The process was designed to fail. I could see it now. Every level required more inventory, more training, more trips, more money poured into a system built to take everything and give nothing back. I pulled up a simple spreadsheet. The math was brutal but clear. Money borrowed from parents. $85,000. Current debt on home equity loan. $32,000, after 2 years of minimum payments. Value of garage inventory if sold at cost, $40,000. Value if sold at realistic price, 50% off $20,000. If Brooke paid back even half of what she borrowed, just $42,000, my parents could save their house. But Brooke wasn't going to pay them back. I found the final document in Dad's email. Filed 3 weeks ago. Chapter 7 Bankruptcy Petition. Brooke Whitaker. $127,000 in debt to credit cards, her upline, and various business investments. My parents weren't listed as creditors. Because they'd never made her sign anything. Never asked for a contract. Never treated her loans like loans. They treated them like love. And love, apparently, could cost you everything. I closed my laptop and looked out at the Seattle skyline. The city lights were blinking on as evening fell. This wasn't a crisis. This was a pattern. Years of bailing out Brooke. Years of protecting her from consequences. And now they wanted me to do the same. Not this time. I texted Dad on December 26th at 9 a.m. Family meeting. Video call. Today at 3 p.m. your time. All 4 of us. Non negociable. His response came immediately. Your mother won't like this. My reply, I know. At 2:58 p.m. I opened my laptop and set it on my kitchen table. The spreadsheet I'd made was pulled up on a second window, ready to share. My hands were steady. I'd practiced what I was going to say 3 times in the mirror. The call connected. Dad appeared first, alone in the garage. Then Mom's face filled another square, her eyes red and puffy. Brooke was last, sitting in what looked like her old bedroom at their house. This is ridiculous, Mom said immediately. You should be here, Chloe. Not on a screen. We're family. If you need me there in person, I interrupted, my voice calm, then you don't need my help. Silence. Mom's mouth opened then closed. I'm sorry, she said. You heard me. I'm in Seattle. I'm staying in Seattle. If my help is only good enough when it's convenient for you, then figure this out on your own. Dad shifted uncomfortably. Brooke stared at her lap. Mom's face went tight. Chloe, we're about to lose our home. I know. Dad sent me all the documents. I kept my tone even. Every bank statement. Every loan paper. Every receipt. I've spent 2 days going through everything. Mom's eyes darted to Dad. Thomas, you. I asked for them, I said. And now we're going to talk about what I found. I shared my screen. The spreadsheet appeared, columns of dates, amounts, and descriptions. This is every dollar you gave Brooke over the last 2 years. $85,000. Labeled as business loans. I scrolled slowly. March. Leadership Conference in Miami. June Training in Bali. September. Retreat in Tulum. November. Summit in Malibu. Brooke's face flushed. Those were business expenses. No, I said, pulling up her Instagram. They were vacations. Here's you at a beach bar in Miami with a drink that costs $30. Here's you at an infinity pool in Bali. This isn't business, Brooke. This is you spending mom and dad's retirement on tropical getaways. I was learning from top performers. Brooke's voice climbed higher. That's how you succeed in this industry. The company said. The company lied. I cut her off. Vitalux is a multi-level marketing scheme. A pyramid. You weren't building a business. You were feeding money into a system designed to take everything you had. It wasn't my fault, Brooke said, tears forming. They promised if I hit ruby level. Whose fault is it? I asked. She blinked at me. If it's not your fault, I said slowly. Then whose is it? Mom and Dad's for believing you? Vitalux for lying? Mine, for not being here to stop you. Let's not point fingers, Mom said quickly. We're all under stress. No. My voice was firm. We're going to point fingers. Because Brooke made choices. Bad choices that put your house at risk. And you both enabled every single one. Dad rubbed his face with his hands. Chloe, Mom said, her voice trembling. We just need help. Can we please? I'll help Dad save the house, I said. But there are conditions. Mom's expression shifted. Hope mixed with suspicion. What conditions? We'll get to that, I said. But first you need to understand something. I'm not coming home. I'm not dropping my life to fix this. And I'm not doing any of this unless everyone agrees to my terms. We don't really have a choice, do we? Dad said quietly. No, I said. You don't. Brooke looked up, mascara running down her cheeks. Why are you being so mean? I'm not being mean, I said. I'm being honest. And that's something this family stopped doing a long time ago. Mom opened her mouth to argue, then closed it. For the first time in my entire life, my mother had nothing to say. I pulled up a new document on my screen, typed, formatted, official looking. These are my terms. All of them are non-negotiable. Mom leaned closer to her camera, squinting. What is that? A contract. I started reading. Number 1. Full financial disclosure. No more secrets. I get access to all bank accounts, all credit cards, all statements. If I'm helping fix this, I need to see everything. Dad nodded slowly. Mom's jaw tightened, but she didn't argue. Number 2. All of Brooke's Vitalux inventory gets sold. Whatever money it brings in goes directly to paying down the home equity loan. But that's my inventory, Brooke said. I might still be able to. You filed for bankruptcy 3 weeks ago. I said flatly. You're not selling anything. The inventory sits in Mom and Dad's garage taking up space that used to be theirs. It gets sold. End of discussion. Brooke's face crumpled, but she didn't argue further. Number 3. No more loans to Brooke for 5 years. Not $100. Not 20. Nothing. If she needs money, she gets a job like everyone else. Chloe, that's harsh, Mom started. Number 4, I continued. You attend family therapy. You and Dad both. Once a week for at least 3 months. Mom's face went pale. Therapy? We don't need. Yes, you do. This family has problems that didn't start with Brooke's business and won't end when the house is saved. We're broken, Mom. And if you want my help, you fix it. Silence. Dad was staring at the desk. Brooke was crying quietly. Number 5, I stay in Seattle. All my help is remote. I'm not moving back. I'm not visiting until this is resolved. We communicate through video calls and email. But Mom's voice cracked. And number 6. I took a breath. You tell the family the truth. You tell Aunt Linda, Aunt Sarah, Grandma, everyone you told I abandoned you. That you were wrong. That you pushed me away. That I didn't abandon anyone. Mom's face went white, then red. You want me to humiliate myself? I want you to tell the truth. This is. She stood up from her chair, pacing out of frame. Her voice came back sharp and high. You're punishing us. That's what this is. You're punishing your own family. I'm protecting myself, I said quietly. From what? Mom turned back to the camera, tears streaming. From the people who raised you? Who loved you? From being used, I said. From being the backup plan. From being blamed for problems I didn't create. Maggie. Dad's voice was soft but firm. She's right. Mom spun toward him, off camera, but I could hear her sharp inhale. She's right, Dad repeated. We did use her. We did push her away. And now we're asking her to save us without changing anything. That's not fair. Thomas. I'm signing the agreement, Dad said. If Chloe's willing to help us after what we did, the least we can do is meet her terms. Brooke wiped her eyes. Why am I being punished? I didn't block Chloe's number. I didn't call her dead. You didn't defend me either, I said. You sat there and watched Mom exile me. You didn't text. Didn't call. Didn't say a single word in my defense. Brooke's voice was small. I didn't know what to say. You could have said something. Anything. I softened my tone just slightly. Brooke, you're not being punished. You're being held accountable. There's a difference. Mom sat back down in frame. Her face was blotchy and her hands were shaking. If I don't agree to this, then I wish you the best of luck, I said simply. But I'm not helping without these terms. The silence stretched long and painful. Finally, Mom whispered, Where do I sign? I sent the document through the video chat. Watched all three of them open it on their phones. Dad signed first, his signature shaky but clear. Brooke signed second, crying the whole time. Mom stared at the screen for a full minute before she signed her name. I'll send you the countersigned copy tomorrow, I said. We start next week. I ended the call before anyone could say another word. I hired a financial advisor on January 2nd. Her name was Sandra Chin, no relation to my therapist, and she specialized in debt consolidation and foreclosure prevention. It's bad, she said after reviewing the documents, but it's not hopeless. We built a plan over 3 video calls. Sell the house before foreclosure. Use the equity to pay off the home equity loan. Buy something smaller with what's left. The mortgage would be manageable. They wouldn't lose everything. Just their pride. I presented it to my parents on a Sunday morning call. Dad took notes. Mom stared at the screen like I was speaking another language. Sell the house. Mom's voice was hollow. The house where we raised you girls? You can't afford it anymore, I said gently. And if you wait for the bank to take it, you'll get nothing. This way, you keep some control. Dad set down his pen. She's right, Maggie. It's time. The for sale sign went up on January 15th. I reviewed every contract they sent. Read every word of the purchase agreements. Negotiated with the bank via conference calls where I did most of the talking while Dad sat silent and grateful beside his phone. Brooke got a job at Target in early February. 27 years old, working retail for $16 an hour. She posted about it once on Instagram, no hashtags, no filters. Just new beginnings. Her first paycheck, she sent Dad a screenshot of a $200 transfer. The note said, First payment. I'm sorry. In March, Mom sent an email to the family. Subject line. An apology I should have made months ago. I didn't ask to read it. Dad forwarded it to me anyway. I was wrong about Chloe. She didn't abandon us. I pushed her away because I was scared of losing her. I said terrible things. I hurt her deeply. She has every right to never forgive me. But she's helping us anyway. And I want you all to know the truth. My daughter is a better person than I've been to her. Aunt Linda called me the next day. I wish you'd told me, she said. Would you have believed me? I asked. A long pause. Probably not. I'm sorry, Chloe. The first therapy session was on a Tuesday afternoon. I joined via video, my square in the corner of Dr. Morrison's office screen. Mom and Dad sat on a couch that looked too small for the size of their grief. Margaret, Dr. Morrison said gently. Can you tell Chloe what you told me in our last session? Mom's hands twisted in her lap. I was afraid, she whispered. When you said you were leaving, all I could think was that I was losing you. That you'd go to Seattle and forget about us. Find a new family. Better people. Her voice broke. So I hurt you first, she continued, tears falling. I thought if I cut you off, it would hurt less when you inevitably left us behind. I felt my own throat tighten. But you didn't leave us behind, Mom said. We left you. Dad spoke next, his voice rough. I should have stood up for you. That night at dinner when your mother said those things, I should have stopped her. I should have defended you. I was a coward. I didn't say it's okay. Because it wasn't. I'm not ready to forgive you yet, I said instead. But I'm here. That's something. That's more than we deserve, Dad said. Dr. Morrison nodded. This is good work. Let's keep going. 3 months after Christmas, my parents closed on a small ranch house on the other side of town. 3 bedrooms instead of 4. 1 bathroom instead of 2. A mortgage they could afford. Dad sent me a photo of the living room. Boxes everywhere. Mom is unpacking dishes. The text said, "New start. Thank you, Chloe." I didn't respond right away. Just sat with the image for a while. Then I typed, "You're welcome. Talk next Sunday." It wasn't forgiveness. But it was a beginning. 6 months after the Christmas crisis, I got another promotion. Vice President of Product Strategy. Corner office. My own team. Maya threw me a party at her apartment, and nobody asked why my family wasn't there. Because they knew now. Not all the details, but enough. You seem lighter, Dr. Chen said in our session that week. More settled. I am, I realized. I think I finally stopped waiting for them to change back into the family I wanted them to be. And how does that feel? Sad, I admitted. But also free. The video calls continued. Every Sunday at noon my time. Consistent. Boundaried. We talked about safe things, Dad's new garden, Mom's book club, Brooke's shifts at Target. We didn't talk about the past unless it came up in therapy. Dr. Morrison called it building new patterns. I called it survival. In November, Mom started a text with a photo of their Thanksgiving table. Small. Just the 3 of them. The caption read, "Quiet this year. Missing you but we understand. No guilt. No pressure. Just honesty." I replied, "It looks nice. Have a good day." December came faster than I expected. Christmas lights went up around Seattle. Maya invited me to her family's dinner again. This time I said yes. On December 10th, Mom called. I almost didn't answer. It wasn't Sunday, but something made me pick up. "Hi, sweetheart," she said, and her voice was different. Softer. Careful. "I wanted to ask you something. But I need you to know you can say no." I sat down on my couch. "Okay. We'd love if you could visit for Christmas. Just a day, or even a few hours. But I understand if you can't. I know we hurt you. I know trust takes time." My throat felt tight. "I'll think about it. That's all I'm asking," Mom said. "I love you, Chloe." "I love you too," I said and meant it. I booked a flight December 20th. Told them I was coming. Booked a hotel room 3 miles from their house. Christmas morning, I drove to their new place. It was small but tidy. Lights on the porch. A wreath on the door that said welcome. Mom answered before I knocked. She looked older. Thinner. But her smile was real. "You came," she whispered. I did. Dinner was quiet. Just the 4 of us at a table meant for 4. No extended family. No performance. Dad said grace and thanked God for second chances. Brooke looked exhausted, working 2 jobs now, still paying back $200 a month. But she looked me in the eye when she said, "I'm glad you're here." "Me too," I said. Mom asked about my job. Listened when I answered. Didn't interrupt or change the subject to Brooke. Just listened. Dad showed me photos of his tomato plants. Mom mentioned their therapist said they were making progress. Nobody asked me to move back. When I said I needed to head back to my hotel, Mom walked me to the door. "Thank you for coming," she said. "It means more than you know." "Thank you for respecting my boundaries," I replied. She hugged me, brief but real. "I'm learning," she said. Driving back to the hotel, I realized something. I could love them without losing myself. I could help them without being consumed. I could be their daughter without being their answer to everything. Family loyalty doesn't mean self-destruction. You can help the people who hurt you without letting them consume you again. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is maintain a boundary. And sometimes, if you're patient enough, The people on the other side learned to respect it. I flew back to Seattle the next morning. My apartment felt like home. My life felt like mine. And for the first time in my entire life, that was enough.